What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Last Stop Sports Talk, and today we got a good one for you here on episode 89. Today is Saturday, June 7th, and we're going to be talking about the vibes for each NFL team heading into the 2025 season. And to do that, we're going to be using memes, movie clips, emojis, GIFs, all those kind of things. So it should be a good one and pretty darn funny. So let's get it started with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals. I'm sure everybody's seen the "Come on, do something" meme with the guy poking like the rock with a stick. Well, in this version of it, Marvin Harrison is that rock, and because for two reasons really, but for one reason, if anybody, I'm sure everybody's seen the pictures of him, but he's now built like the Rock. He is. I've seen memes that say he's one McDonald's quarter pounder away from being a linebacker. And he is like absolutely jacked, and like you kind of look at him, he's like, man, that's cool, but like. You think back, and it seems like a lot of times whenever NFL players kind of get bigger, it's like, well, that just kind of means you got slower. It's like, well, how does it help him as a wide receiver to be a stronger guy? Because you look at DK Metcalf, and yeah, there's pros and cons, but like we'll see, I guess. But the other reason why he is the Rock that this guy wants to do something is because he had a disappointing rookie season. 62 receptions, 885 receiving yards, 8 receiving touchdowns isn't bad if you look at that, and I'm sure I could get flamed in the comments for saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. was disappointing. But
it's fine, but when you're a first-round pick.
Yes, and your
that
thought.
High,
yes, exactly.
You have to be the guy.
Yes, exactly. Like, Cardinals fans all have to admit that they wanted more out of the son of a Hall of Fame wide receiver who a lot of analysts thought would step in right away and be a top 10 wide receiver when Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey all stepped in and clearly excelled more than Marvin Harrison Jr.
And Brock Bowers.
Yeah, and Brock Bowers.
As a tight end.
Yeah, exactly. And Neighbors, Bowers, and Thomas Jr. all clearly had much worse quarterback situations to deal with.
Lower draft picks,
exactly. And even Xavier Worthy at the end of the season had a really good finish, like a finishing run. So no matter like which way you look at it, if you are a Cardinals fan, you had to be disappointed. Like, you had to be disappointed with what you saw from Marvin Harrison Jr. So you're just hoping that he does something to look more like the Neighbors, like the clear number one, like I'm one of the best wide receivers in the league because that's what everybody thought I was coming out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons. We got a meme here that I'm sure people have also seen. It's that crazy like History Channel guy, and this one fits for so much. But this one, we got him as the Falcons management saying, if we had enough defense, it'll fix our offense. And that's what the Falcons have been. I mean, the Falcons defense, we talked about it last year. Like, their defense is great. They've got, like, guys all over the place. They brought in Jesse Bates. They have a great safety core and, like, linebacking room. And there's all studs up and down the line. And their defense is really what carried that team to any sort of relevance, if we're being honest. So they needed some offensive help to go along with their studs like Bijan and Drake London and what they hope Kyle Pitts to be. They hope every single year. So they needed help. What do they do this year? Well, they bring in a left tackle. They draft a left tackle, and they bring in a wide receiver that we don't really know. And then they just add defense, even more and more. So that's why I think this is fitting. Like, if we had enough defense, we don't need offense. It's just, we'll be fine. They bring in guys this year like Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman Jr.
Hell yeah.
So they just add to this room. They brought in Leonard Floyd in free agency and just all kinds of studs across the board. And we'll see if it fixes their offense, because sometimes it works for teams, because if you do hold a team to 10 points, it can help you win. But is the offense going to be clicking enough to help them out?
Steelers fans know very well, all too well, that defense is enough to win.
Too well, yeah.
And they say defense creates offense, but it can only create so much offense. The offense still has to be able to do something itself.
Yep.
So. All right, on to the Baltimore Ravens. First of all, I just want to say that I had a great time creating these memes. Some of them took a lot of time.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
But they're fun. This one here, so vampires are like scared of sunlight.
Right.
Yes.
Superman can't be near kryptonite.
Right.
And Lamar Jackson is just allergic to Super Bowls.
Ooh.
And that's the vibe of this team going into the season. Time after time, Lamar Jackson MVP, stellar season, gets to the playoffs and they just putter out, or they just get outplayed by 3 points by the Chiefs or Bills or whoever it may be. They just can't get it done when it matters most, no matter how much they show in regular season. They just have a problem with Super Bowls, and I don't know how they couldn't be starting to get that feeling all around the organization that how many times are we going to do this, get so far, do so great leading up to the playoffs, and then just putter out.
They're definitely already feeling that way.
Yeah.
This one's way too accurate.
Mm-hmm.
This meme here, makes way too much sense, and it's rough to see the guy with so much talent that's an MVP guy pretty much every year, Lamar Jackson, just not be able to make it. I bet it's incredibly frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, what else do we have to do? We brought in one of the greatest running backs of all time in Derrick Henry. The defense is always stellar.
Mm-hmm.
The wide receivers, they're okay. But Isaiah Likely's coming up as well. The offensive line has always been good enough. So, yeah, what else do we have to do to just get over the hump? So, yeah, that one definitely makes sense. Mm-hmm. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills, and this one I really liked a lot. If you've ever seen the movie Inside Out, anger is the emotion here. And in this portrayal, this is going to be Josh Allen in 2025 because Josh Allen's got to be fed up, man. For one, he hasn't had a true wide receiver one or special playmaker since Stephon Diggs left after the 2023 season. Mm-hmm. His new wife, congratulations, Josh,
Congratulations.
His new wife, Haley Steinfeld, was allegedly doing some freaky things with Michael B. Jordan for the filming of her new movie, Sinners. And Josh Allen and the Bills are 0-4 versus Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs. And in Josh Allen's best season ever last year, lots of people were still saying that Lamar Jackson should have won MVP. So I think a little bold take here, a little early season, early prediction for the season, way too early, but I think this is Josh Allen's year that he is so pissed off that he just goes absolutely nuts, crushing the competition. I think the Bills win the Super Bowl this year.
Wow.
For the first time
Hell
ever.
yeah.
That's my my way too early prediction for the season. I think this year that Josh Allen just goes absolutely ape shit and he tears apart the NFL because everybody is disrespecting him.
He makes some good points, and it's hard to not agree with that.
And in the meme, I like how he's taking both of the thrusters and pushing them both forward.
Ahead, yeah.
It's perfect.
I love it, yeah. Moving on to the Carolina Panthers, I made this one up, and I thought it was very accurate because we've all seen it. Well, most of us have seen this meme. It's the hold up, let them cook.
Did you take that picture yourself, too, in your
I
backyard?
did. Yeah, yep, I did.
Yeah,
Those guys are chilling in the barn, and they just came out, and they're watching me weed whack, and they're just like, hold up, let them cook. So this was, obviously, it says, Panthers fans watching Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, the OC, or the GM and the head coach, quite possibly build and develop the Panthers back to an NFL team. Because as we all know and remember, the Panthers, for a while there, they were a UFL team on their best days. Yeah. They were not an NFL caliber squad with like Frank Reich at the helm and Bryce Young, who was not what they hoped him all to be. And
they might lose to the Richmond Dukes.
They might lose to the Richmond Dukes. Callback. But now, last year they started taking a step up. Bryce Young is now playing a quarterback in the NFL and doing it half decently. And they've got guys on the defensive side that are really starting to play together and play well. They continue to bring in some stud rookies this year that should help them on that defensive side. And their offensive side, Adam Thielen, is still great somehow for them. They brought in Ted McMillan this year. They got Leggett. So they got guys. And their team is looking a lot better, and they're starting to play a lot better together. And, they aren't the absolute worst team in the NFL anymore.
I love the Panthers right now.
Yeah.
I am so excited. Every year, well, since Bryce Young started putting it on, but now this year is what I mean. I'm so excited to watch Bryce Young. I love watching this guy play. He's so happy out there. He's having fun. He's living life because he knows that in any second it can just be taken away from him. And there were some dark moments there whenever he got benched for a ginger, Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket. I mean, there's no disrespect there.
So handsome.
Yeah, so handsome. But it looks like like Kris Kringle from the old like the puppet movies at Christmas time. But I'm just so excited to watch Bryce Young because I do think that he took a step forward, and I'm hoping to see that he progresses even further this year.
Yep.
Chicago Bears. This is another one that I really like. So you got Ben Johnson.
Yep.
You got the new and improved O-line of Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson.
Yep.
You got loaded offensive weapons now. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Kyle Monunga.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got the defense as well. They've always been pretty darn good. You got Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, Grady Jarrett gets brought in, Montez Sweat just got a contract. These guys are ready. Kyler Gordon. And then you got the whole dragon down there. Bottom right of the screen there, Caleb Williams. The rest of his team is loaded. It's all ready for him. And he just needs to prove that he's competent. He can run the offense. He can operate under Ben Johnson. And he can get the job done because that's really the only thing holding the team back at this point.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's really it.
Caleb Williams is really still, to most people, the only place to question on that team.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the article just came out about Caleb Williams about how his dad was like almost trying to force him out of like Chicago. Like, what can we do here to like not get drafted to Chicago?
Yeah.
Well, now in Chicago looks pretty damn nice.
Yeah.
Everything is set up there for greatness for Caleb Williams. It's just him. Just get your head out of your ass and play some football.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bengals. That's me. This the classic riding on a bus, light side on one side, dark side on the other.
Yep.
Well, on the light side, you got the Bengals head coach and offensive play caller, who obviously loves and kind of favors the offense. That's Zach Taylor, because the offense is looking stacked. We paid both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Chase Brown was looking efficient last year. Mike Gesicki had one of his best seasons of his career. We drafted 2 more offensive linemen. It's looking great. Then on the dark side, new defensive coordinator for the Bengals, Al Golden. Defense looks rough. Trey Hendrickson, quote, "How come you guys aren't talking to me about an extension? I want to be traded." Sam Hubbard retired.
Yep.
Is Shamar Stewart going to be relied upon as our best pass rusher? Can he win in pass rush consistently? We lost Mike Hilton as well.
Yeah.
The whole secondary got cooked last year, and we didn't address it at all. There's like definitely two sides of the coin. But man, I'm excited to watch the offense. I'm glass half full guy. I'm not gonna look out the other side of the bus. I want to look at T. Higgins and Jamar Chase Moss and people all year long. So just score, instead of scoring 30 points a game like they did last year, let's go for 40, Joe. Let's go for 40.
Yeah, this defense is just absolutely terrible.
It's still so bad.
In our free agents episode or draft episode, probably both, we said that they need to get at least a safety because Geno Stone and Jordan Battle last year were 2 of the worst in the NFL. And they have them both. So they have dark days ahead on that side of the ball.
Yeah, in the secondary, they literally added 0 guys. They added 2 UDFAs. But the rest is just running it back without Mike Hilton. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And Mike Hilton's the only guy in your secondary that actually could hold his own.
Yeah. He would make a play, blitz from the nickel every once in a while.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Cleveland Browns, I got a twofer for you. Maybe because I'm a Steelers fan, maybe just because they make sense. You can be the judge. So, get our first one here. Comes from SpongeBob. Squidward looking at a note. It says, "A lot of people find you attractive. They're probably too shy to tell you." Then the bottom, of course.
Tyler the
That
Creator.
is a effing lie. Yeah. So, Browns. I don't really have much to say on the Browns. The Browns are still the Browns. They tried to add some pieces, so we'll see what happens there. But that leads into my second little meme here I made. It's the classic Spider-Man pointing at each other one, but this one's got 4 because you got all your quarterbacks. You got your quarterback room here is what we're looking at, the Cleveland Browns quarterback room. We got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl winner, of course, and then Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. They're all, who knows who's going to be the quarterback, but of course you still got Deshaun Watson there. He might be in the back of a paddy wagon, per se. We'll see. That's debatable. But, so that quarterback room's a mess. Just the whole team is just, I don't know. We've talked to some Browns fans. I've talked to some Browns fans. They're fairly optimistic, about as optimistic as you can be as a Browns fan. So I respect that. Yeah. But
they got options.
So that's different.
Yeah, it's nice to have, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where they're just excited to see a competition with all the guys that are kind of like, somebody's got to earn it.
Yeah.
Nobody's hand. So, like, I don't know. They're hoping to find a winner at the beginning of the season and not just throw somebody out there who immediately loses.
They just need to win.
Yeah.
If they can win, that winning solves a lot.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. So I just had to steal this one from the interwebs because I thought it was funny. They've been joked about it forever now. They can't play actual teams.
Yeah.
Dak, I'm scared. We got to play some real teams. I know. I'm scared too, baby. They always beat up and run up the numbers on these bad teams, and they face a real team. They just crumble under pressure. This season, the offense isn't looking a whole lot different outside of George Pickens, and they drafted Tyler Booker. Running back room is still a bunch of mid guys that they brought in. The defense is a little more loaded now. Dante Fowler, Kenneth Murray, and Khair Elam. So there's not a whole lot more to help. Oh, Donovan Zaraku as well.
Yeah.
But I still think that Dak is going to Dak against these teams, and he's still scared too, baby.
Especially coming off an injury. I mean, that's a good reason to be scared.
Yep.
And unfortunately for them, they have to play. Well, they're in a very good division in the NFC East.
Yep.
And then this season, they also have to play against the NFC North. So that is the Lions, the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings. Yeah, so it's going to be a gauntlet for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's scared, baby.
He's scared, baby.
too,
I'd be scared too, actually.
Me too.
If I was a Cowboys fan.
Me too.
Next up is the Denver Broncos, and it made me immediately think of Mulan and the Army military training scene where they're all they all come in, they all have no chemistry or anything. They're like smacking each other with sticks. There's nothing. There's nothing that is synchronized about it. They don't look like an army. They don't look like they could beat anybody.
Yep.
But Sean Payton built himself this army of these guys who didn't look like they were that great as individuals. This team's ready for battle this year, man. He came to Denver in the offseason before the 2023 season. People were still questioning if he had it because, the whole scandals of he's paying guys to hurt the other team and stuff like that. Kicked Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy's ass is out of town. Drafted Bo Nix as the 6th quarterback in the 2024 draft. Immediately made it to the playoffs with a 10-7 record in Nix's rookie season. Had an offense that was 10th in points, 19th in yards, which is more impressive than you think. Because their lead running back was Javonte Williams. That's pretty bad. Their leading wide receivers were Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Devon Vele. And then Adam Troutman led the tight end room with 190 receiving yards last year. And the defense was 3rd in points allowed and 7th in yards allowed. They traded away Barrett Browning mid-season, but then Nick Benito turned into a stud. Zach Allen is consistently really good every year, and Pat Surtain was CB1 in the league last year, and it's not really arguable. Sean Payton has turned this team of players who most coaches wouldn't rank very highly outside of Pat Surtain into an army that is ready for battle. And they can make a playoff run this year if they can keep this hot streak rolling. And I do believe that. So I think this team is like Mulan, the army at the end of the movie.
I think he came in, and I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that his team motto is "I'll make a man out of you."
Yeah, I'll make a man out of you.
And boy, did he. Yeah, we love the Broncos. We love what Sean Payton's doing. They are an absolute unit, especially on that defensive side. The Detroit Lions, I got another twofer here for you because it was too good. This is the classic, I'm blanking on the movie.
Despicable Me.
Yeah, Despicable Me. You got the little kid hugging that little inflatable dog. It's so cute. It's so nice. We love it. That's the Detroit Lions with Ben Johnson. Man, this has been awesome. He's made our offense incredible.
I love you, Ben.
Then Ryan Poles is sitting there. He's like, oh, we need a head coach. And boom, Ben Johnson is ours. Destroyed Detroit Lions hearts and their fans' hearts also. So that leads into my second little gif here with, I don't even remember his name.
Seth Meyers.
Yes, that's it. Thank you, Seth Meyers. This is what we hope doesn't happen, but might happen. Because Key made a good point off air talking to me about this. It's like Ben Johnson's kind of the brain. And I'm like, that's kind of what we think is true. We'll see what happens, but yeah, that's why this one makes sense. Detroit Lions offense, when they lose Ben Johnson, it's just Seth Meyers going, I think my brain's gone. And we hope that's not the case because we love the Lions and we love their offense because it's been incredible. But yeah, we will see. Ben Johnson, I think, really is the main mind. I was trying to think of that.
Mastermind behind.
Megamind. Yeah, Megamind. He's the Megamind behind this Detroit Lions offense.
All right, Green Bay Packers. So we love to hate on Jordan Love a little bit around here, and this is my biggest problem with him. So it's the typical meme of the guy with his girlfriend, seeing the girl walk past, and ooh, look at that. Jordan Love, taking the easy completion to get the ball moving. No, he's not interested in that. He's looking down behind him at the playing hero ball and throwing it in double coverage. He's always trying to make the big play happen, put his receivers in a tough situation, let him make a play, throw the 50-50 ball, 30-70 ball, whatever it is. And that's not going to work. And he showed last year that it won't work, and he's going to have to play more strategic and more in rhythm with more timing, more in an operational offense than he has last year. And going into the season, I think the organization probably thinks that, and Matt LaFleur's ready to game plan towards that and try to cater him to start to develop into that rhythmic quarterback that can operate the system.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why you go out and get Matthew Golden in the first round. Somebody who can separate, make those throws really easy.
Yep.
And as you say, Carson, the first year in the league, Jordan Love it wasn't his first year in the league, it was like his third. But
first year starting.
Yeah, right. You're basically a rookie. There's not really any film on you, so you can get away with those risky throws, chuck it up. But then year two, as a starter last year, you really saw that he took a step back. There was more interceptions, more throws that were just defenses were reading his eyes. He definitely needs to take a step forward, and yeah, that's definitely a good meme to show that. The Houston Texans, I was really proud of this one that I made this poll back from The Sandlot 2.
Yes, good poll. Great movies.
So the main huge downfall for the 2024 Texans was their O-line, and C.J. Stroud was pressured a whopping 39.0% of the time, resulting in 63 sacks. You could easily see this if you literally only watched the Texans' last game of the season, which was the divisional round of the playoffs against the Chiefs. Stroud was pressured 53.7% of the time.
So
he was sacked 8 times in that game. And this offseason, instead of addressing the offensive line with big-name, top-dollar offensive line players, they decided to trade away their clear best offensive lineman in Laramie Tunsil, which I heard there's stuff in the locker room that was going on, but either way, he was the best player on the field for them. And then they went with an approach of, let's just bring in a bunch of mid guys and make them compete for the starting 5 spots.
Yeah, might as well.
Because here's what they're looking like. They have 10 guys competing for 5 spots. So here, the returning offensive linemen, there's 4 of them. Jarrett Patterson, Titus Howard, Blake Fisher, Juice Scruggs. They brought in 5 free agency retreads, guys who have been everywhere. Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Jake Andrews, Ed Ingram, Trent Brown, and then they only drafted 1 rookie, the second-rounder Ariante Ursary, who I like decently as long as he's a powerful guard.
Right.
But will the offensive line be better? I mean, it couldn't be much worse than last year, so probably. But with C.J. Stroud's talent and the skill position talent that the Texans now have added around C.J. Stroud, the offensive line just has to be functional, which is exactly what the wall of appliances, the home run wall in the Sandlot 2 is. That outfield wall. It's made up of a bunch of big, heavy, old machines and appliances, which is basically the Texans' offensive line this year.
Pretty much.
This wall of heavy objects protects the Sandlot characters from the ferocious dog Goliath, much like how the Texans' offensive line of heavy men need to protect their offensive players from opposing defenses. But you look at it, and it's not very pretty.
No.
It just is kind of standing there. It's heavy.
It's doing its best to imitate the big green monster.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's doing its best.
Just made out of trash.
Yeah, I love it. All right, moving on to the Indianapolis Colts. There's a lot that you could talk about with the Colts, but this little gif here that I modified here made too much sense. It's the classic JT Realmuto meme of
Jared Hughes.
Jared Hughes doing his classic sprint out from the bullpen. All of us Pirates fans love it, and we've all seen it. This one just makes too much sense. This is the Colts said, "Hey, we're signing another quarterback." I think this is Colts fans when they see it's Daniel Jones running out there. Just oh, brother, yes. It was it's kind of a weird move to bring in Daniel Jones. You would think there'd be better options to maybe bring in for a competition, but bring in a Joe Flacco again, but I know Joe Flacco had a rough. He didn't look like he did in Cleveland, so I get it. But yeah, it was just an interesting move, and still, people just because of the New York shade that Daniel Jones is still somehow living in because he was classically pretty bad most of the time there. It shades any of his good traits, so no one can see them. So I'm sure this is how most people reacted, even though Daniel Jones has some ability still. He could very well get the starting job here.
I see the vision because Daniel Jones is mobile like Anthony Richardson, so they don't have to completely change the game plan like they did with Joe Flacco. But, I mean, if I was a Colts fan and I was like, oh, we signed a quarterback, looked at it, Daniel Jones, this would definitely, literally I'd definitely be doing the JT Realmuto when I see Daniel Jones. It's hilarious. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars. So go Jags fans. They have this big golden present, this prize in the form of Travis Hunter. They're like, oh my gosh, this guy's generational. 2 sides of the ball. They see the training camp highlights, the corner, the tipped interception, the amazing routes that he's running, the great catches he's making. But then in reality, behind him, with this little gift that's like, this is what we actually got. They're coming off a 4-13 season in the worst division in the NFL, and their entire team is mid around Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. They got De'Ami Brown. They got Brent Strange, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. They're all mid. Even their defense continues that midism with Travis Walker, Foy Oluokun, Darnell Savage, Tyson Campbell. You don't have any studs anywhere outside of your 2 receivers. And I don't think that's going to get them much further than their previous 4-13 season. Maybe something like 7-11, 7-10.
I completely agree. Yeah, it's we talked about generational Travis Hunter, which he is, but football, you can't only have one guy. Yeah. And we all know that, so we'll see how it plays out for them.
Liam Cohen's going to have to carry this team to a 500 season.
Yeah.
But I believe in Liam Cohen. So.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
As not as a head coach, as a coordinator.
Right, I think he can create offense. No, he was good last year. The Kansas City Chiefs are next. And this is the SpongeBob episode where he's trying to get the tiny little stain off the plate, and he's got this just huge gun of like detergent and water and like looks like some fire in there, lasers. Yeah, trying to just push this thing up to maximum power just to get the stain off, and then like I think he ends up like blowing up the Krusty Krab or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's Andy Reid right now, Chiefs head coach, going into 2025 because the Chiefs just made their 5th Super Bowl in the past 6 seasons. The team has so much consistency and greatness every single year. They overcame losing L'Jarius Sneed before the season and then Rashee Rice early in the season. Travis Kelce looked like he took a step back. Patrick Mahomes showed some lackluster moments, and then Isaiah Pacheco and Hollywood Brown were injured. Wow. Were injured for most of the season, but this team still made it to the Super Bowl. And now we all think they put together another great offseason to add even more firepower to an already powerful team. We think that all 7 of their draft picks could contribute. Some of them could maybe even turn into steals. As if the Chiefs needed any more power in the NFL, it seems that you can never get enough. I mean, this team looks primed for another deep playoff run.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's big with what they added, and like you said, with Rashee Rice coming back. I mean, we forget that he was like a stud coming out of college, so we'll see if he can jump back in there. I'm sure he can. They still have Patrick Mahomes at the helm. He's pretty good at making anyone good.
And this is perfect because it is a little stain, just like in SpongeBob. A little stain on their team that made them get only to the Super Bowl and lose. They don't have any glaring issues, and they do attack it with so much firepower. Jalen Royals, Omar Norman Lott, these guys that we love, Jeffrey Bossa even. And that
Josh Simmons is going to be great.
Yeah, it's just unfair to the rest of the NFL that
they're so good so easy.
Yes,
seemingly.
That the rest of the NFL can't draft like these guys, can't develop guys like these guys, can't create offense like these guys, and it has to be frustrating for whoever goes against them because
the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
they're
Lamar
so
Jackson.
Good,
Yeah, this team lost 3 games last year. Well, basically 2 because one of them was they got crushed by the Broncos because they didn't play any of their starters. So they basically lost 2 games last year.
Yeah,
and they went and just like immediately got even better. So it's crazy. The Chiefs they're sticking around for sure.
They're the Chiefs. Chiefs are the Chiefs. All right, I got another 2 for you for the Las Vegas Raiders. One I just thought was funny just because this was a really cool picture of Mark Davis, and of course you got to include a cool picture of Mark Davis. It's just Mark Davis when Raiders fans finally don't hate his guts because they kind of don't right now. It feels like. Yeah. Of course, now he's probably going to be confident and say something along the lines of "trust the process." It's a process, of course.
And I can tell he trusted the process at the barbershop.
Oh, absolutely! You got to have that crisp line.
That hair is unmatched. Yeah.
Unmatched. And then, of course, this other little gif here with Gargamel. That's Raiders fans when they get a real head coach real OC, real quarterback, and real running back to add to Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, and Brock Bowers. They are cautiously excited, and I think that's very fair because with those additions, head coach Pete Carroll, OC Chip Kelly, quarterback Geno Smith, and running back Ashton Genty, like another generational guy, to add to their obvious studs, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Brock Bowers, one of the best tight ends in a long time, per se. And then
let's go. All time. Of all time.
one of the best tight end rookie seasons. Well, probably the best
The
tight
best,
end rookie season of all time. And then we aren't even talking about Bubby Spillane. And just they got studs all across the board. And it really feels like they did a good job of filling what like desperately needed filled the most. Like obviously head coach. They now have an NFL head coach that's been there, done that. Chip Kelly, he was in the NFL, went and had great success at Ohio State and won the Natty, and he's now back to the NFL. And then you got your Geno Smith. He's still playing really good football. Mm-hmm. He's older, but he's competent. He knows NFL offense. He knows the NFL game, and so I think he'll be great for that team just to get some steadiness back into the Raiders. That's what we talk about with this team a lot. And then, of course, Ashton Genty. He's probably going to be great anywhere he goes, and I'm sure he'll have maybe not a super explosive success, but he's going to be successful and by far and away the best running back the Raiders have had in a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Much like Geno Smith is the best quarterback the Raiders have had in a while. Yeah. This fan base is so depressed that I think
such a good fan base.
Yeah, it is such a good fan base. I think they're finally going to get back into the NFL race of like actually being relevant. I think this is a good step in the right direction. So yeah, good
definitely. LA Chargers. So another typical meme here of crying Michael Jordan or weeping Jay, as they may call it.
Yeah, nice.
So this is Chargers fans after they bring in Mike Williams, Trey Harris, and Tyler Conklin as the so-called receiver help for Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey. But don't forget about Keandre Lambert-Smith.
Oh, yeah.
And Quentin Johnson's still there as well.
He's still there.
So all offseason long, and even before the offseason, the Chargers fans and the NFL were expecting the Chargers to go out and get either another stud receiver to pair up with Ladd McConkey, because as much as I love Ladd McConkey, I don't see him as a 1. He's a 1B at best. I don't know how well he can hold up to the rigor of the NFL. Is that good?
Rigors. Mm-hmm. Probably rigors
of the NFL.
But yeah.
He's not a very big guy. He's more of a route runner. He's not going to dominate anybody. He needs someone there like a T. Higgins would be amazing for the Chargers. But instead they get, like I said, they get Mike Williams as a T. Higgins. Maybe they saw back, Clemson. Baby. They're like, same difference. And then they bring in Tyler Conklin because they couldn't get anybody else, I guess. And don't forget about Najee Harris as well to bring into the backfield. They do have Omarion Hampton, but he's a rookie. Rookie running backs do produce right away, but that's not helping the receiver room at all, and they had no problems with the run game last year, so I didn't think that was an issue in the first place. So, yeah, Chargers fans just crying. They need some receiver help. They addressed their defense a little bit, but I think Herbert can still make it work because last year him and Ladd had that connection, and then he was making whoever else work they had. Quentin Johnson had some games. Darius Davis would show up every once in a while. And then they always had the the trio of tight ends, Will Dissly, Stone Smart, and Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we need to mention with all that success that the Chargers found with those like guys they brought in and putting it together, we need to mention the head coach, Jim Harbaugh, there. I think he's the straw that stirs the drink, and he's what definitely helped make it all happen. So, yeah, we'll see if he can bring these receivers back to relevance.
Mm-hmm. Los Angeles Rams. This is the classic Michael Scott meme where it's like, Michael, corporate needs you to look at these pictures and see what's different between them. It turns out they're the same picture. Yeah. Well, I'm probably in the minority on this, but I think that the NFL needs Sean McVay to find the difference between this picture and this picture. It's Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams. In my mind, they're basically the same picture. And I know that I'm probably on the minority on this, but let me just explain here. The Rams released Cooper Kupp after a disappointing season where he produced just 73 receptions for 800 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. He clearly moved to the wide receiver 2 role behind Puka Nacua, who has blossomed into one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. Kupp was owed $20 million for the 2025 season, but the Rams didn't have to pay $7.5 million of those dollars because they released him before March 17th. But $20 million was set to be his salary on the Rams in 2025. Instead, the Rams opted to go out and sign Davante Adams to a 2-year, $44 million deal with $26 million guaranteed. They can get out of that contract after 2025, but either way, they have to pay him that $26 guaranteed million. So Davante Adams has definitely shown signs of regression since leaving Green Bay after the 2021 season. Can you blame some of that on the terribleness of the Raiders and Jets offensive atmospheres? Sure, yeah. But he is now 32 years old. The last we saw of him last season, when he played with his old pal Aaron Rodgers, there were moments where it looked pretty rough. So do you think Davante Adams is significantly better than Cooper Kupp right now? Because I don't.
Probably not. I would really not like this if he wasn't going to Sean McVay. If he was going somewhere else, but for some reason I have trust. Well, not for some reason. It's because he has success to back it up. But I have trust in Sean McVay that he has an idea of what he's doing. But yeah, on the surface, I don't see it being worth that extra money. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. They're similar players. They're slightly different. I think Davante's probably better down the field.
Yeah, outside.
Yeah, and outside he's bigger. But yeah, I don't know. It's just with Davante's recent years, it hasn't looked good.
Yeah, he's got more of a frustrated diva attitude than Cooper Kupp has ever shown. Maybe Kupp is more injury prone right now. I will admit that. Yes.
True, yeah.
But he's more of a slot receiver at this point in his career. But he's reliable, and his chemistry with Matt Stafford is unmatched. Everybody knows about Stafford and Kupp's breakfast sessions. Those guys were almost always on the same page on the field as well. And now that's broken up to go pay a wide receiver similar money, who is just as old, who isn't familiar with Stafford or the Rams offense, and has shown more instances of clocking out when the going gets tough in recent years.
Right. Maybe they think that there's probably more that's going on than what was reported. They were probably doing this. Sean McVay wouldn't pull the rug out from Cooper Kupp, I don't think.
It's weird. Yeah, it was really weird. They didn't talk about it.
There's something that probably happened there, but maybe they've also thought that they've maxed out Cooper Kupp. Maybe they're trying to make a big splash and get Davante Adams and see if they can make magic happen and just deep bombs, domination down the field, and see if they can make a big change in offense to help them out. I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a usage issue or a personnel issue, because this Rams offense has showed that whoever they want to use is going to be great. Mm-hmm. They use Puka Nacua like there's no tomorrow.
Not true.
And he just goes off. And then when Puka goes down, they just turn to Jordan Whittington, and he's great for a game. And then Tutu Atwell goes off for a game whenever they use him. DeMarcus Robinson looks like a top 30 wide receiver in the NFL whenever they use him. Yeah. I just think it's whoever Sean McVay chooses to use rather than who that person is, because this offense can seemingly create a star out of almost anybody.
Yeah. And I get that this is business in the NFL, but I just can't agree with this one right now. It kind of hurt me in my feels. I was like, I thought you guys were buddies.
Yeah.
Well, I think that might be part of the problem, because I think it's Puka is now the new go-to guy for the Rams, and Cooper Kupp might be a little jealous. Maybe? Matt Stafford and Puka are maybe having breakfast together now. It's Cooper Kupp's the ex-boyfriend, and Puka Nacua is the new boyfriend in town. It's why do I want to keep hanging out with you guys whenever I'm not even dating you anymore?
I'm just third wheeling.
Yeah, and I just have to watch you guys be happy together. I'm just gonna block you both on social media, so I don't have to see it anymore, and try to move on to my next girlfriend.
Stafford said, he's you know what, Coop, I don't think I'm going to be eating breakfast anymore. I'm starting a new diet. Yeah. And then Cooper Kupp, he's all sad. He walks into the coffee shop one morning and he sees Stafford and Puka just sitting there laughing, eating scones or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, boy. That's
he's
tough.
What?
Yeah. Tough.
Yep.
I think something might have happened to some breakfast joint somewhere. There might have been a little scuffle.
Yeah, a little scuffle.
That's probably
at a local diner, probably.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to call around to some LA diners, see if they've seen any guys that have if they had any big Hawaiian customers with long hair in there.
Yeah. Man bun, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was he with the typical looking middle-aged man to sleep on a Tempur-Pedic with a happy wife?
Big teeth.
Yeah, big teeth.
Yeah, spiked up hair.
Yeah.
Talked about 1,000,000 miles an hour.
And then the guy throwing punches at him looks kind of Amish. Blonde beard, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving into the Miami Dolphins. This one just had to, because this is all anyone is talking about right now. This is classic Hasbulla freaking slipping his neck with punching bags on. That's Tyreek Hill to Mike McDaniel when he only gets 2 targets. This is the video that came out recently that said that was Tyreek Hill just doing his natural dumb stuff, saying something about knocking out Mike McDaniel because he ain't throwing me the ball. And so this one fits so well. I love it. And other than that, to be honest, the Dolphins talk has been pretty quiet. Seemingly, they aren't doing a whole lot. They didn't make any huge moves, which is probably a problem for a Dolphins team that's been struggling. I mean, on the offensive side, they couldn't make offense last year, and Mike McDaniel's supposed to be able to make offense. That's what he's known for. But they brought in Westbrook Akine.
Touchdown machine.
Yeah. So he's going to get a touchdown every game, probably. They brought in a left guard, James Daniels from Pittsburgh, but then Jonas Avianaya on the line. So hopefully that's along the lines of they also brought in some other linemen, but
Zach Wilson, he's wearing number 0 this year. Watch out!
Wait, you're allowed to wear 0?
Yeah,
now you are?
Yeah, watch out! Zach Wilson wearing number 0.
He might be a starter.
Seriously, I know.
Shoot, buddy!
Swag, the confidence he's bringing now, wearing number 0. So watch out!
There's a lot of confidence in that room now because then you got Quinn Ewers in there. He's gonna come in toting a rifle on his back.
Probably.
Probably carrying a deer head.
What can I shoot in Miami?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of go there. But yeah, so maybe they're hope they need if the Dolphins want to have success. For one, I don't know.
We ain't in Texas anymore, Quinn.
Yeah.
Can I add to my wall?
Gators. He can get Gators.
Gator skin. He can make his own
gator skin. Gator bites are
He'll be walking in with freaking gator skin boots on.
Yeah.
Killed
myself.
Yeah. Made him last night.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Dolphins need to do, man. I mean, Tyreek Hill is obviously an issue in the public or for the viewing eyes of fans. Obviously, fans are not fans of this guy right now, but you still have Jalen Waddle. Malik Washington was trying to do something, and
this is his year.
They need to get Johnny Smith going again, and
unless the Steelers take him.
True. We do need another tight end. But no, what was really missing last year, it felt like, was their run game. They need to get that run game firing again, and they need to assemble some sort of defense. That would be helpful to them, but they seemingly have a lot of holes to fill. But, it's just icing on the cake is Tyreek on social media. That's just takes away from worrying about anything else on the Dolphins.
Yeah, with how the talk surrounding Mike McDaniel has been going.
Not good.
Yeah, not good. And Tyreek Hill might have – I mean, even if Tyreek Hill wasn't going through all of this bad publicity right now, he probably honestly might have more pull in the Dolphins organization to get Mike McDaniel fired. And based on looking up and down the Dolphins roster and depth chart for next year, it's looking like this might be Mike McDaniel's last year on the Dolphins as a Dolphins head coach because it doesn't look good. There's a lot of holes, as you said.
Minnesota Vikings. So we have this little guy here in his military getup, and I want to make him a commander. Okay, he's actually a general.
Oh,
and that's JJ McCarthy. That fits of the U.S. U.S. general.
Yes.
And that's JJ McCarthy. He's a U.S. general because first of all, he's the quarterback of this absolutely stacked military of an offense and defense. That is, we've talked all offseason about how absolutely loaded this offensive line is. They have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. They bring in Jordan Mason now. This offense can't get a whole lot better, and J.J. McCarthy is the young kid that's coming in and operating and has to operate this system. And then the defense is stacked as well, and J.J. McCarthy is similar to Caleb Williams, the only thing holding this team back at this point. They showed last season they can be 13-4 with Sam Darnold. So J.J. McCarthy has zero excuses. They even upgraded their O-line this season further yet. I think this is the vibes heading into the season here. Little guy, but he has a lot of power. Big military under him that he has to operate. It's a lot of pressure on him, but he's got to be able to produce.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk with the quarterback for the Vikings, obviously, the past months. It feels like are they going to go get Aaron Rodgers? They're supposedly having talks. It's like, are they going to re-sign Sam Darnold? That obviously didn't work. But so, yeah, they are full in with their General J.J. McCarthy, so I think that's accurate.
And luckily for them, if he doesn't work out, They do have Sam Howell behind him. He's the backup there now.
Fine.
Yeah, they went out and traded for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell knows quarterbacks clearly.
Yeah.
He's an ex-quarterback.
Yeah, ex-quarterback. He's the quarterback whisperer.
Yeah.
So this
So,
is
duh.
Sam Howell.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But next up is the New England Patriots. If you've ever seen the South Park episode, it is phenomenal. It's about measuring penis size and like the average size penises. Everybody's all ticked off because they're all smaller than average. They like start a riot and everything. They're talking in these elementaries in South Park Elementary. They're talking about how to properly measure your penis.
Well, duh. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Patriots. Last year they had Gerard Mayo, and it seems like everything coming out of Foxborough was like the experiment of Mayo flamed out fast and big.
Yes.
And now he's going to the UFL to make the Richmond Dukes.
Yes, Richmond Dukes.
Allegedly, if we can get a say in this.
Yeah.
I wonder how much Mike Vrabel has had to undo and reteach to the young Patriots players since he was hired as head coach in January. Because not only has he brought in the disciplined Patriot way and philosophy and culture, but he's brought in a ton of new players and actually used the league-leading cap space that they had going into the offseason. He went in and listen to these additions. Quarterback Josh Dobbs, wide receivers Stephon Diggs and Matt Collins, center Garrett Bradbury, right tackle Morgan Moses, edge Harold Landry III, defensive tackle Milton Williams. That's the big one. They spent a lot of money on him. They brought in Bobby Spillane.
Oh, yeah.
Cornerback. Carlton Davis III, safety Marcus Epps. And then in the draft, they did really, really well, too. We really all enjoyed their draft with left tackle Will Campbell, running back Travion Henderson, center Jared Wilson, wide receiver Kyle Williams, defensive tackle Joshua Farmer, safety / slot cornerback Craig Woodson, and then edge Braden Swinson. Vrabel seems like he's come into the Patriots building, put his foot down, and is making big changes to lead this team in the right direction. And one of the most important things for an incoming NFL rookie to learn is how to properly measure their penis.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure there are some behemoths in those NFL showers, and you don't want your young guys feeling self-conscious.
Right.
So you got to teach them how to measure it properly,
Yes.
so that you're getting like you're sizing up to average properly.
Yes.
So that's what's really important for these young guys, and I think that Mike Vrabel does bring in a stable voice who actually knows what he's doing now. So
Yeah.
Definitely. I still think he was rudely and unnecessarily kicked out of Tennessee. I don't really like how that happened for him. I think he's one of those, like, he's a super smart football mind, I think, but he's one of those, like, he just brings in an attitude and a culture that guys respect. And sure, it's the Patriot way, because that's how he came up, where he played most of his tenure in the NFL. But yeah, I just think I love this move to bring him in and all these guys they brought in. It should be a completely different team, which is what they needed. They needed a turnaround.
And there's a chance that, just like in the meme, he did say, like, forget everything he just told you. How you actually measure it is.
Yeah. Yes. All right, moving into the New Orleans Saints. This is a dude, he's just looking at, all right, who do we got for our Saints quarterback choices? We drafted a guy, we got a rookie from last year, and, who do we got? Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener. Okay. That's who we got.
Confused.
It looks like, what are we going to do here? Nothing really shining out. No shining bright spots. We saw Spencer Rattler some last year. He can play. We saw Jake Haener. That dude can spin it. For how many games? We don't know, but that dude can spin it. And then Tyler Shuck. Talked about a lot in the draft. Solid quarterback. Obviously, people thought maybe taken too early, incredibly too early, but these guys all feel like they got a similarity to them, so that's why I think there's not a really clear guy here. It'll probably be Shuck because he's a rookie and all that, but other than that, that's kind of the biggest thing on the Saints. The Saints haven't done a whole lot. They were kind of not great last year, but not terrible. Kind of middle. Yeah, that's kind of how the Saints have been, so we'll see what they do with that quarterback room.
Yeah, they refuse to rebuild. They kick the can down the road, and that's kind of how they.
Mickey Loomis special.
Yeah, that's how you end up with a bunch of bad quarterbacks, because you don't get good draft picks, so you end up with bad quarterbacks. But real quick aside, who do you guys think wins this quarterback job this season? Who looks like the best quarterback? You're looking back on the 2025 season. You're like, who was the best Saints quarterback this year?
I really think it'll probably be Shuck.
Yeah, I think it'll be Shuck too.
I'm going with Rattler. I think it's going to be Rattler, yeah.
Yeah. I can see why, but
based on not really what I saw last year, but what I saw in film watching comparing Shuck to Rattler, I would rather have Rattler.
Yeah.
So I think trusting my film watching, I think I'd go Rattler.
Yeah,
I think they're going to give Shuck the go, though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Being the second round pick, drafted him 40th overall. I mean, he's already probably growing gray hair.
Yeah.
good chance, yeah.
He's older than
Probably older than Rattler.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. All right, New York Giants. I love this one. So you got Giants fans sitting there in the chair ready for their delicious meal. Russell Wilson, I hope you're hungry. You know, he's always corny.
Yeah.
He's here we
Let him cook.
Yeah, basically. And then that cover there is week 1. Takes off the week 1 cover for nothing. And I think that portrays this team perfectly. Because, first of all, Russell Wilson is that type of guy. Talks like he says all this corny stuff to get you hyped up. And
He's
then
super positive.
yeah, and then he doesn't really do a whole lot. And then and they didn't add anything to this offense outside of him. And then defense, there's also going to be nothing because the defense is going to give up very minimal points. Best defensive line in the NFL, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Bobby Okereke, and Abdul Carter.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau too. This line is absolutely loaded. I don't even know how they're going to get everybody on the field at one time. But then we're big fans of Tyler Nubin as well, Javon Holland, Drew Phillips, Paulson Debo. This defense is
loaded.
There's going to be these Giants games are going to be very low scoring.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
Russell Wilson is just like the meme states.
He just needs to cook.
Yeah. He cooked nothing.
Yeah, he might cook nothing.
Yeah.
I saw a Shane Bowen quote, who is the Giants' new defensive coordinator, asking about Kayvon Thibodeau because they were like trade rumors because, you know, you brought in Abdul Carter, you have Brian Burns on the other side. And he said, look, we're just trying to get the best 11 defensive players on the field at one time. So there is a chance that we could see Thibodeau, Carter, and Burns, 3 edge rushers all on the field at the same time.
This defense is going to be fast.
It's going to be fast, yeah.
If you put one of them at D tackle or something,
Ooh.
man,
That'd
probably
the
be
sexy
Thibodeau,
Dexy.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. They look good.
Yeah. The New York Jets, I think it's hilarious how depressing the New York teams are. It's really, really funny. But this is a meme where it's back to square one, and it's the Jets sadly walking back to a little square with the number 1 on it. It says, "You again?"
What are the 3 dots for?
I think that's his face.
That eyes
Oh.
Eyes and then like a
a little mouth.
Yeah, a little mouth. Yeah.
I thought it was like a square bowling ball or something.
No. But the last Jets head coach to last 6 seasons. 6 seasons, that's it. Was Rex Ryan. That was 2009 to 2014. The Jets haven't had the same head coach for more than 6 seasons since Joe Walton in 1983 to 1989. That was only 7 seasons.
Oh,
So-
brother.
Since 2001, the Jets have had 6 head coaches. 7 if you count Jeff Ulbrich as the interim head coach to finish out last season. But all 7 have losing records over their time with the Jets. How many times can Jets fans put up with this is my question. I mean, the Jets fan base...
Well, they've done it for 30 years now. So.
Right. I mean, they seem like one of the most depressed fan bases in the NFL, as I just said. They brought in Aaron Glenn from the Lions as their new head coach. Not really that exciting.
No.
Defensive head coach. Lions defense hasn't been that great since he took over as a DC there. It was like never dominant. There were never any dominant seasons like Robert Saleh had in San Francisco. But hey, he's a former Jets player, which must have earned him some brownie points.
Must have.
Their biggest free agent signing was Justin Fields, who is a quarterback who still has a lot of question marks. Garrett Wilson has been disgruntled ever since he got there. Breece Hall really disappointed last year. He just needs to stay healthy, and we'll see if he can get back to himself, or maybe that Breece Hall is gone. We don't know. The offensive line absolutely needs to stay healthy because every year they are a problem.
Yep.
The defense absolutely shat the bed last year. Despite having most of the same players that they had when they were dominant.
Sauce got no sauce.
He had no sauce. Yeah, he was dry.
He was dry.
He was a dry rub last year.
Dry rubs are
Dry rub.
sometimes good, but
Yeah.
some dry
Depends on what you're
rubs-
rubbing,
Yeah,
yeah.
some dry rubs are not.
They're very sticky. Corners need to be sticky.
Yeah,
do.
right.
Yeah.
You need that sweet honey barbecue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something with honey in it for sure. But the Jets had so much hope going into 2024 with Aaron Rodgers, and yet in true Jets fashion, they somehow reached rock bottom again by the end of the season. So for the Jets fans' sake, I hope that something works out in their favor here.
Yeah.
Because it is sad watching them go back to like square one. Let's restart. Let's restart and restart. So I do feel bad for them, but it is really funny to look at the New York teams because they're always so sad.
Yeah.
You look at the NBA too. The Knicks, they just made it to the conference finals, and then they fired their head coach. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's
Classic.
really funny. Yeah.
Classic.
All New York City cares about is baseball.
Yeah.
That's it.
And yeah, I mean, they're getting
I think the Rangers are pretty good, aren't they? Usually, historically, the New York Rangers,
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah,
hockey
they're
team.
good. They're good.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Texas Rangers.
No,
Like,
sorry.
what?
Yeah, I didn't specify.
Especially as of recent, they're a really good team. They got some studs. They got a stud goalie right now. So yeah, they're a good team. They're a good hockey club. They got good skates on the boys down there in the ice. All right, let's move to the Philadelphia Eagles. This picture speaks for itself. They are the Avengers right now. They are the most powerful team in the NFL. They don't. You look up and down this roster, it's just superhero, 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 superhero. They literally got everyone there. They did lose offensive linemen. One of them retired.
The Eagles. What? Did it? No. Wait, Landon.
No, he's still there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought
they're
one-
going at. Lane Johnson's going at it for another year, I think.
Yeah,
and
I thought they
Mailata
lost
too.
one. Sorry.
Oh, I think you're
I'm
thinking
of
of Lions.
I'm thinking of Frank Reich
Lions,
now.
yeah.
Sorry.
They lost
My
their
bad.
D line. Bryce Huff,
Yeah.
Milton Williams, one
Yeah.
other one.
Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat,
Josh
yeah.
Sweat. Yeah. Well, that's my bad. And that's
all
my,
good.
that's
Yeah.
my second mistake.
Reset.
I said Bubby Spillane was on the Raiders. He's not.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, yeah, the Eagles, even though they lost those few defensive pieces, they're still. You can look up and down the roster. They're still studs. They're bringing Saquon Barkley back to a new deal. They still got A.J. Brown. They still got Devontae Smith. They still have Jalen Hurts, obviously. Their offensive line is still intact, and yeah, they're running it back, like Keaton said, and their defense just obviously turned into a next level defense last year with like Zach Bond coming into his own and Nolan Smith taking steps ahead and just
Quignon and Cooper DeJean immediately taking off.
Yeah, immediately taking off. And then they bring in more pieces. Like they brought in Nakobe Dean. They brought in Jihad Campbell in the draft, which of course they felt like Jihad fell
goodness.
to them. Like they brought in Josh Uche and just Mandrew Makuba in the safety
our
room.
guy.
Oh,
Because
man.
they lost Darius Slay to the Steelers, so then they bring in Andrew Makuba. It's like, all right, shouldn't miss too much of a step, except for experience-wise. So up and down this roster, they're literally one of, if not the best on paper looking team and on the field. I mean, they're Super Bowl champions, obviously. But, yeah, they are the team to beat right now.
Pittsburgh Steelers, this one hits close to our heart. So the top there, 2020, 21, and 23. Want to see me make the playoffs and get destroyed, that's what happened. 2025, come on to this season, want to see me do it again. And the main reason I put that is because we didn't make any significant upgrades that I think are going to put us over the top. DK Metcalf replaces George Pickens.
Johnny Smith is coming.
Whoa, you're right. Yeah.
Pat Fryermuth is good enough.
Yeah.
Robert Woods, okay, whoop-de-doo. Caleb Johnson, we're not all huge fans of. Defensively, bring in Derek Harmon. And that's about it.
And Jack Sawyer, respect.
Yeah, Jack Sawyer, if he sees the field, whenever someone gets injured.
Yeah.
But the main reason I chose this meme at this time is because Aaron Rodgers. And I feel like this is a good segue into that because I think Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade, but he's not a championship quarterback for us or for, frankly, anybody at this point in his career, I don't think. And I think that's why they are going to make the playoffs, probably with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, because it is an upgrade, like I said. But they also are going to get destroyed because Aaron Rodgers is in no position to be able to do it himself like he once did. And the Steelers are also not in a position to do it themselves around him. So someone's going to have to create above what they're expected to. Jalen Warren, I have faith in. Caleb Johnson, I think, will hold his own in the Najee role.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any receivers, tight ends, O-line, quarterbacks on this team that are going to put you over the top like a superstar will.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that he gives us the best chance to win right now with this team if we want to try to make a run. So I'm mixed on bringing him in. I'm kind of a fan of Aaron Rodgers that has been talked about before. Like, I do think he gives us the best chance to win right now. He's a good passer. People forget, like, he was in the Jets last year, and we talked about how bad the Jets are, and everyone looks bad on the Jets. He threw for a lot of touchdowns. Like, he was not the worst quarterback in the league, and behind that offensive line for the Jets that struggled, I think that's what it's going to come down to in the Steelers, too, is if they can get a competent offensive line, which has been a struggle lately. If they can get a competent offensive line to keep Aaron Rodgers upright and clean, let DK run wild, and let their underneath guys do the work, too, as they have with what's his name?
Calvin Austin.
Yeah, Calvin Austin.
Roman
He's
Wilson.
been very good.
Scotty Miller?
Yeah, Roman Wilson coming
Is he
back.
there still?
He is.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
Oh, they brought back. Yep.
Ben Skowronek. Yeah.
He's back.
Get him in there.
Rock Taylor.
Listen to all these weapons we have.
I think we brought in. I think this guy's from UFL. Montana Lamonius Craig.
I saw that. I don't.
Is that from the Key and Peele skit?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
What a good name.
I think
don't know
is
the
he
guy,
from the UFL?
I don't.
You don't think?
But if the Steelers can keep Aaron Rodgers upright and clean, and he can get it to the weapons that are there, and use the weapons to the max, which the Steelers have not been good at doing recently, I think they'll have a pretty decent chance at success. And if they're paired up in the right matchup, I think they could get a playoff win. I think it's possible. And like if Aaron Rodgers is never not going to be able to throw the football. It's just, can he move around and stay upright is what it is. DK, big question mark. But like, he's big, dominant receiver. Robert Woods, can he be another deep threat on the other side? Maybe. He's done it in the past, but he's not the best option. But
Yeah.
It depends on a lot. But I think Aaron Rodgers coming in, he gives him the best chance to win right now.
I think it's a UDFA.
Yeah, he is. He played at Arizona
Okay.
and Colorado. Yeah, the main thing, if you're looking at it glass half full, as Steelers fans, you kind of need to.
Try to do it.
So he is another year. Aaron Rodgers is another year coming off of the Achilles injury. So in theory, I know he's now another year older as well, but he should be hopefully more mobile, which was kind of a problem for him last year. He would just kind of like absorb sacks and just kind of like take it because he's old.
Yep.
But I think that he should be more mobile this year. And I think we're going to have an X Factors episode, but I feel like obviously the receivers need to get open. That's been a problem with the Steelers basically since Antonio Brown left, it feels like. Whether that be problems in the locker room, well, there's always problems in the locker room.
Yeah, well.
But on the field, it's just nobody is Antonio Brown, and everybody kind of wants somebody to be Antonio Brown or be that next great receiver. And I think the X factor on this team, or one of them, is going to be Roman Wilson because he was drafted to be that slot receiver. He was injured all last year, and as Mike Tomlin says, like it's hard to get on a moving train. Like once the season gets going, once you miss all that time, it's like as a rookie especially, you can't really hop on that moving train. So can Roman Wilson occupy the slot? DK Metcalf is going to do his thing, run deep and jump high on the outside.
Yep.
Bobby Trees is going to occupy one of my favorite nicknames in the NFL at least. He's going to block.
Yeah.
He's going to block too.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. Yeah, they probably will get destroyed at some point in the playoffs. But I think the main thing is that they'll probably get there. And Steelers fans might be upset about that because they're not going to rebuild again. But this meme does feel very fitting.
Yeah.
The San Francisco 49ers. This is a callback to a parody of I'm Sexy and I Know It by these boys. Yeah, I'm farming and I grow it. And that calls to Brock Purdy. He's a farming man.
He is.
And then I was looking up. I was like, is there anybody else that farms? Well, George Kittle owns a 178-acre farm.
Wow.
So George Kittle's a farmer as well.
That's awesome.
And then Kyle Juszczyk, not really a farmer, but I found some quotes where he said that like gardening has lengthened his NFL career. He's a gardener, so I had to put him on there too because I needed a third guy for this little album cover here. But this is now the Brock Purdy 49ers. And he's farming. He's a farmer, and he's growing up this team because they lost a lot of pieces. Wow, did they lose a lot of pieces over this past offseason?
Yeah.
It was like 17. Let me pull up the list here real quick because I have it.
Completely depleted.
Yes.
Yeah,
they moved on to 17 players in free agency. The names are Deebo Samuel traded to the Commanders. Jordan Mason traded to the Vikings. Javon Hargrave released. Yeah. Malik Collins released. Leonard Floyd released. They even released, they counted, on this article, they counted the long snapper. He was also released.
Oh,
yeah, rest in peace. Yeah. Talanoa Hufanga, gone. Dre Greenlaw, gone. Aaron Banks, gone. Charvarius Ward, gone. Isaac Yiadom, gone. Josh Dobbs, gone. Brandon Allen, gone. Jalen Moore, gone. Elijah Mitchell, gone. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, gone. Charlie Heck, who the hell is that? Gone.
What the heck?
So who do they even have?
Well, right
These
now,
farmers, I guess.
they got the farmers, man. They still got
49ers.
Still got Juice Chick. They still have George Kittle, everything he is. You're hoping that Brandon Ayuk can come back and actually be the man they paid him to be, but now he's raising up. He's growing these new guys. I mean, Jawan Jennings isn't really that new, but he is making him better. Jawan Jennings might be the wide receiver 1 on this team this year. He took a big step forward last year. Ricky Pearsall needs to step up, and he's going to have a lot of playing time, every opportunity to succeed this year. Demarcus Robinson just came in. Jacob Cowing is a guy who maybe is going to take that yards after the catch role, the Debo role. The offensive line, Dominic Pooney, was great last year in his rookie year. He's going to have to deal with eventually a new left tackle whenever Trent Williams eventually retires. And then the whole defense is like all new guys except for Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Diamador Lenoir. The rest of the guys, it's like all new. And this is now, they just paid Brock Purdy $51 million a year, and this is now basically his team. They pay him that contract, and now, like, Brock, this is your team. If we're paying you this much money, you have to know that we can't bring in the Deebo Samuels, the big-name guys. We can't go out and get Devontae Adams like the Rams just did. Like, we're paying you all this money, so you have to show up, make this your team. And it sounds like, based on, like, what I'm hearing from 49ers fans, is that they believe in Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody else, though, is like, oh, that guy's trash. Like,
that's been the thing, though.
He's one of the most hated on quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
But, like, we believe in him. We think that Brock Purdy is definitely better than what everybody else says he is. And it's now his chance to prove it. Your turn to grow up this team, who is now a bunch of young guys, and make it into something after a 6-11 season where it didn't look very good.
Not at all. Okay, let's move to the Seattle Seahawks. This is a classic Gray Zabel meme. All right, coming in here, and this is let's read some names first. All right, how about we do that? Charles Cross, Josh Jones.
Hey,
we know Josh Jones. Oluwatimi.
Bad.
Christian Haynes.
Terrible.
Abraham Lucas.
Can't stay healthy.
Yeah. Anthony Bradford, anyone?
No.
Jalen Sandell.
Bad.
No, Satoa Lumia.
Sucks.
That's the Seattle Seahawks offensive line.
Yeah.
And they were last year one of the worst in the league. So what do? Well, like, this is obviously, they need to focus on this. All right? We need to fix this problem. We're gonna get one guy in the draft. Gray Zabel. All right, buddy. Good luck. Gray Zabel walks into the offensive line room. Gonna meet with his other rookies. No one else. No other rookies are in there with him. So this is, I thought, very fitting. Gray Zabel's going to come in, and they're probably basically going to tell him, hey, we need you, buddy. We need you to do as much as you can, and he's going to try to plug all of those holes on the offensive line, seemingly by himself, because I don't know if they've done enough to fix this offensive line. We will see. It does not feel like it, but that's their biggest issue right now, I think, on the Seahawks.
Yeah, they're really the entire interior offensive line last year just fell apart. Geno Smith was pressured a lot, not as much as C.J. Stroud.
Right.
Wasn't that big of a problem, but Anthony Bradford, Oluwatimi, and Christian Haynes were all just bad last year. And I thought that they were going to at least 2 draft picks. Hell,
Yeah, 2.
First round, Gray Zabel, that one was kind of chalk, but like circle back round in the 4th or 5th round even to draft somebody else.
They got one in the 7th.
One in the 7th,
it
one
would
in
have
the
been nice
6th.
to have a mid-round.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They spent a 5th round pick on a fullback instead.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
going to be really useful.
That's going to solve their issues.
I'm sure he's going to. Yeah, I'm sure he's still going to be on the team next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and you're hoping that those guys take a step forward. We'll see.
Yep.
All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is perfect because you see all the hands in there. There's a young hand on top that's representing the young guys, like Emeka Ibuka. You got Bucky Irving. You got these young folk that are on the team. Then you got kind of the middle-aged hand that maybe represents some of the middle-aged guys. Bottom hand, that's the old hags like Mike Evans.
Levante David.
Yeah, Levante David. Even, what's his name? Big guy.
Yep.
Vita Vea.
Vita Vea, yeah. And then on top there, you see a dog paw. And that dog paw is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is a dog. Has his hand in. He's bringing everybody together. He's keeping everybody's hand held down, making sure they can't get out of the fight because he's going to be there at their throats, motivating them, saying, "Come on, guys, we got a Super Bowl to achieve here." And that's just him. He's a dog. He's going to hold everybody together.
Yep.
And this team's going to rely on him because there are that mix of age groups on this team, and he needs to unite them all together. They have rookies coming in, and they have old guys that are on the brink of retirement, and they all have to learn from each other, mesh well, and make a run at the Super Bowl under their dog of a quarterback.
Agreed. I think that's very well put. They do have guys all over. I didn't even really think about that, but that makes a lot of sense. But Baker's one of those guys that I think could definitely do it. He can bring the boys together.
Yeah, Baker's the guy who kind of keeps him young. His moxie, he's not even the youngest guy anymore. He's getting up there in age now. I mean, he's not old by any means, but he brings the moxie, the energy. It's like one of those guys who, in the huddle, he's like, "Are we going to go out there and win?" Everybody's like, "Yeah!" "Are we going to crush him?" "Yeah!" "Did I just throw up an interception?" He's like, "Yeah."
"Yeah,
"Are we going to win still?" Like, "Yeah!"
"Am I about to go run a guy over?" "Hell
yeah." Yeah. The Buccaneers really do ride with Baker, and he has rejuvenated this team in a way that I don't know if any of us predicted whenever he went to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Tennessee Titans. They're feeling rejuvenated, maybe falsely in my eyes, because Brian Callahan, this is the SpongeBob meme where it's like, "Patrick, we saved the city," and the city behind them is like burning and on fire. Well, this is Brian Callahan and Cam Ward. He's like, "Cam, by drafting you, we saved the team." And the rest of the Titans team is just on fire in the background because it's looking pretty nasty. I thought whenever I put out the our Titans draft grades that we were going to get a lot of clap back because we were hating on Cam Ward and we gave him all like between a C+ and a D+. But we actually didn't. I didn't hear too much back from it because I feel like people understand the situation. Whenever you're starting Van Jefferson, like the Steelers did last year, you see that the offense isn't very good. You got Van Jefferson, you got Tyler Lockett, who I'm surprised he didn't retire.
Yeah, I thought he did.
Yeah, I thought he did too. He kind of takes some games off. He slides down.
Did he come back? Is he on the active roster or not?
He is, yeah.
He must have came back. I thought he retired.
He's on the Titans right now. And whenever I'm hearing things coming out of minicamp saying that, like, Xavier Restrepo, your undrafted free agent, is looking like the best wide receiver, like, time after time after time, it's like, that's probably not a good look for your receiver room. I'm a Xavier Restrepo guy. I think he was a top 10 wide receiver in this class. I think he got disrespected in the draft, the fact that he didn't get drafted.
They got connections already, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo.
Yeah, he was their go-to guy all throughout college.
I still think he's probably one of the best receivers on the Titans team.
Well, yeah.
And then they went out and paid Dan Moore Jr., a guy who struggled in Pittsburgh, especially against Myles Garrett. Luckily, he doesn't have to play Myles Garrett as many times in Tennessee. Right. But they paid him bukus of money. It is stupid money. Yeah, to go out and be something. And the defense, I read it last time. Last time we were talking about the Titans. You got Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat on the inside. Edge rushers, you have nothing. Linebackers, you have Cody Barton as your linebacker one. Cornerbacks, you hope L'Jarius Sneed doesn't shit the bed like he did last year. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. shouldn't be starting in the NFL. Sorry, Jarvis. I like you, but you're not that good. Kevin Winston Jr. is one of your only kind of bright hopes who is already good at football. You could say Femi Oladejo. Maybe he's going to develop, but he hasn't shown that he's good at playing edge right now, and they drafted him in the second round. So this team and this city is on fire, and luckily they can burn down their stadium whenever they want because they got a new one coming in 2027. Yeah, so it's only got to sit. It's got to like what do coals do? What do hot coals do?
Are you talking like simmer?
It's simmer, but that's like more of like simmer is like with water, like it's wet. They got to. What do coals do? Coals
heat.
Yeah. But they're like glistening in there. What's the word for it?
Ember.
Ember. Yeah.
Just got that glow, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. They gotta kind of simmer like coals until the new stadium is built in 2027. So they just kind of have to like just don't burn the place down, is what I'm saying. Just kind of keep it hot and ready to burn down. because
Yeah.
you're going to want a new team. You're not going to want a disappointing team going
Yeah.
into the new stadium in 2027. You're going to want to burn it all down right before then, and then come back with a new revived team, something for the fans to come and actually want to pay the expensive tickets to come into the stadium to see. So.
Yeah, Nashville ain't cheap, but yeah, it's just kind of rough because Tennessee, some of these guys like that they brought in would work really well on teams that are already like developed in those areas, but these guys that are like he could be very good, or he like could do this, he could be the best. Tennessee is not in a place to bring in guys that could. They need guys that can, and that's what makes it super tough for them. And
That could.
Cam Ward, he'll probably fit well, but unfortunately for the Tennessee Titans, you can't normally solve a bad team in the draft, and they did bring in guys, but the guys they brought in are questionable. So.
I just hope for Cam Ward's sake that they don't ruin his career before it ever gets started.
Yeah, I hope so.
Carolina tried to do to Bryce Young.
Yeah,
that idea.
Yeah.
Another team that's building a new stadium here soon is the Washington Commanders, and this meme is more a Jaden Daniels meme than anything.
Yeah.
So last year, that was him on the left. He was that cute baby that was strong. Rookie came in, and he was dominant right away. And now he's on the right. It's like he's growing up a little bit. Yeah. He actually has to prove himself and show that he can still do it. No sophomore slump. I think of it kind of like this. Like, you're out making hay, and, this is your kid, right?
Sure.
There's, that little baby on the left. It's like he's, trying to carry a bale, and everybody's like, oh, look how cute he is. He's trying to do it. Then he grows up a little bit. This kid on the right is, actually age where you expect him to, throw some bales and help out some. That's Jaden Daniels coming into this season. It's okay, last season was good and everything. We all enjoyed it, but let's see what you can actually do now. Now the defenses know who you are, and Cliff Kingsbury's offense has already been exposed, and there's film on you. Let's see what he can actually do now. And this team's kind of changed a little bit since last year. You bring in Deebo Samuel. You still have Terry McLaurin. You replace your previous left tackle with Laramie Tunsil. It's pretty much a trade of old left tackle to old left tackle with Trent Williams to Laramie Tunsil. And then on defense, you got whole new faces. Javon Kinlaw, Dietrich Wise, Will Harris, Jonathan Jones, and you lose some of these other guys that were big parts last year with Jeremy Chin and some of these other temporary pieces. This team is still kind of in the temporary pieces mode, and we're going to have to see what Jaden Daniels can do with it, if he is actually the real deal or if he is just going to have a C.J. Stroud-type career.
I think that's very well put. Yeah, I can't say much more, but yeah, Jaden Daniels, he's going to be the guy to continue to carry this team to say carry them to relevance is unfair because they've got some guys that really showed up and showed out last year. But I'll say it anyways, he's going to be the one that, obviously he's a quarterback. They're going to rely on the guy, and I think he's going to hold up. Okay, that wraps it up.
Good one.
Wraps up our vibes coming into this season. Let us know what you guys think. We always love to hear it. Hit us in the comments, subscribe, all that stuff. Check us out on the TikTok. Of course, we're over there cutting it up into shorts and all that, and TikToks and Reels and whatever they're called. All of it. So check us out there. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. And we will catch you in the next episode.